Hello, Javed and Santosh. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, sir.
Is somebody else also going to join?
No, sir. Chetan and Aditya will not
Only
join. Only two of them, sir.
which
Today.
one?
Only we are two.
Only you two are there. Okay, fine.
Yes.
Fine. So in the last class, what we have seen? We have seen how to create a class.
Yes.
We went to SC24. We have created a class.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
There are three components will be there for each and every class. So those are attributes, methods, and events. Those are called event components of the class. So let us go to the attributes. Here in the attributes, we have declared a different attributes.
Yes, sir.
So there can be instance and there can be static. What we can call this as instantiation. There are two types of instantiations will be there. So instance and static. And next one is if the variable is public or protected or private, that also we can declare.
Yes.
Once you create a class, go to AC38 to get the objects from the class. I'll go to AC38. So this is the object. This is called object. This is how you can declare an object. This is called creation of the object. Create object obj.
Yes, sir.
Once you create an object, you can access the components of the class.
Yes, sir.
Component means maybe attribute, maybe method, or maybe event you can access.
Okay, sir.
So here what is this? Object means object V1. Object V1, what is the value in object V1?
10. 10.
So okay, object V1 has a value 10, so 10 you will
Get.
10 the value will be displayed here when you execute this report.
Yes.
And if you don't want to create an object, you can only call the static component.
Yes.
You can only call static components. For example, I will say I'll comment this create object. I am not creating an object. So then what I can say is write
obj
ZCL underscore test. This is the class name. Double arrow V4. V4 is a static attribute, correct? This is static public. So this is also true. Okay. So I cannot call V1.
Yes, sir.
Why I cannot call V1?
It's instantaneous.
It's instance. Okay, so you are clear with that point, right? You make a note of that point. Please make a note of that point. If you want to call an instance component of the class, you must create an object. Please make a note. If you want to create a static component of the class, if you want to access a static component of the class.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
So, like, what's the difference in calling an instance component of the object class and static component, sir?
That's what I'm saying now. Please make a note and read out. You can understand. So you see, if it is a instance component, you must create the object. You must create the object if you are calling a instance. creating an object is compulsory when you are calling
Public.
instance attribute or instance method or instance event. If you are calling, then object is compulsory. You need to create object. But for the static, there is no need to create the object. You can call directly like this. In the screen you can see class double arrow attribute, class double arrow method name, class double arrow event, like that you can call it. Okay, so this is the difference.
Okay, sir. I'm not like I'm clear with the creation, sir. If you want to create an instance object, we need to create an object. For static object, we need to not create an object.
Yeah,
so
correct.
In the use, sir, like how will they behave, sir, differently?
That I'm going to tell you in a next example. I'll create an example and I'll tell you in real time how you are going to use this. Okay.
Okay.
Fine. So and one more thing. Static you can also call via creating an object. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Static.
Can also.
Say for example, if I create an object, I can also call static. I can also say object v4. This is true. Static you can either call via class double arrow method name or object hyphen attribute or method name. Component. This is component of the class.
Yes, sir.
This is attribute. That means component of the class. So this whenever a component is declared as a static, you can call in both the ways. You can create an object and call. You cannot create an object and then you can say class double arrow that particular attribute or component or method. Okay? Remember that. But whenever you are calling instance, what I am saying, object creation is compulsory. Static means either ways, both the ways are possible. You can create a class and then you can create an object and then call, otherwise you can call it directly from the class. Now let us see in the second example how to use this create. What I will do now, so I will say data obj1 type ref2 zcl underscore test. This is what our class name, correct? zcl underscore test or something else? zcl underscore test. I will create another object obj2 type ref2 same class zcl underscore test. So now I have created two objects for the same class. Next, start of selection, create object obj1 comma obj2. I have created two objects. Okay. Now what I will do, write obj1 sorry, write obj1 single arrow v1. What is the output? obj2 single arrow v1. Tell me, what is the output? obj2, obj1.
10 value will come to twice, sir.
twice 10 comma 10 value will come as a 10 comma 10, correct?
Yes, sir.
Now what I will do, obj1 hyphen single arrow v1 is equal to some I'll say 22. Next I will say write the same write statement I will put again. I will put a new line so that you can identify. Okay, now what is the output?
So 22 comma 10.
First line you will get 10 comma 10. Second line you will get 22 comma
10.
10. Correct?
Yes.
I'll save it, check it, and activate and execute. You are correct. In the first line we are getting 10 10. After that 22 10. Okay, fine, good. Now tell me what's the output?
So 40 40. Then again 40 40.
40 40.
Then also 40 40. The 22 value will not be assigned to V4. Sir.
Why?
It's a static, means
We
it's
should
constant value, sir.
No. Don't assume like that. Static means not a constant. You can change also. You can change the value. Static means it's not something like a constant or fixed.
Okay.
Concept is something different.
Okay, sir.
That's why I have written this program.
Okay, sir.
Actually, V4. What is the value there in the V4?
40.
Default value
40, sir.
40. Okay, correct. So here it will print 40 40. Okay. After that, what I'm saying? For object 1, I'm changing the value
Yes, sir.
as 22. Okay, so now what it will do? It will go and change the default value inside the class.
Okay, sir.
So now what will happen here? 22 and here also 22 should come. Previously this here 40 40 will come. Okay, correct. But here when you do this step, what will happen? The 22 will go and sits in the main location.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Okay.
And then main location means in the default value, if you see 22 won't be there, but assume that it has changed the original memory location itself, and 22 went and sit in place of the 40.
Okay.
And now what will happen in the write statement? 22 will come now.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Got it?
Okay, sir.
So this is the difference between the instance and static. So now in words, if an interview, if somebody asked you instance and what is the difference between instance and object static, then what you can say is, for instance components, okay, if you change the value for one object, the other object values will not get affected. Correct. So I am
Yes, sir.
changing object 1 v1. Object 1 v1 value I am changing. Object 2 v1 will not get affected. It's the same.
Yes, sir.
But for the static components, if you change the value from one object, the original value will get affected. All other object values gets affected. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So
Yes, sir.
fine. So this is the main difference between instance and static. This is how they behave. Fine. So now you know the behavior of instance and static. Now let us go to the class. So now we learned about the attributes. Attributes V1, V2, V3, V4, different attributes we have created. We try to call all the attributes. Now you know you can only call the public attributes inside the class, correct?
Okay.
Only public you can call inside the class, and protected and private attributes you cannot call inside the class. Fine. Now what I will do, I'll create one program. I'll create another program. Create local class. In this program I am going to tell you how to create a class locally. Previously what we have done, we have created a class in SE24 transaction, correct? After creating the class in SE24 transaction, we came to the SE38 and we are trying to create an object and call the contents of the class.
Yes, sir.
Now here what we'll do, in the program itself we will create a class. This is just like we can create a structure in SE11 also, we can create a structure in SE38 also. In the same way, I am trying to create the class here itself. So now,
Types.
so class, the syntax is class, put some name for the class. I will say class C1, definition, end class. So this is the beginning statement and this is the ending statement, and I'm making the definition. So class has 3 sections. So visibility sections are 3 sections, correct? What is the first? Public section. Second one is protected section. Third one is private section. So put all these 3 sections in your class. Okay, put it in the same order. Don't jumble the order. So don't put protected first, public second, private third. Don't put like that. Always put public first and then protected and then private. This should be in order, otherwise it will give a syntax error. Okay, the next one. Now I want to create attribute. Okay, I want to create an attribute V1. Okay, that V1 will be instance public. Okay, I want to create V1 as an instance public. Inside the class you know how to declare a variable as an instance public. But here how to declare a variable as instance public? I'll say data V1 type I'll say I, integer, value 10. So the value 10 means the default value is 10. I'll save it, check it, check means syntactically correct it was saying, and activate. Fine. So this is now the V1 is instance public. Okay, I want to declare one more variable, data V2 type I, value 20. Now tell me what it is.
Instance protected with value 10.
With value 20. Okay,
20.
now V3 type I, value 30. So what it is? V3 is
instance with value 30.
Instance private.
Private.
Instance private. V3 is instance private.
Sir, where we have mentioned instance,
Now,
sir?
Instance means, see, for example, if you simply say data, if you say, then that is instance.
Okay.
Your understanding is that is instance. Now I want to declare a static attribute. If you want to declare a static attribute, you need to say class data. Class data is a keyword, and then if you say v4 type I value 40, so then this is static public.
Yes.
Yeah, this is class data, means it is a static.
Okay, sir.
It is under public section. It is under public section. So this is, so v4 is static public. Okay, and v1 is instance public. Okay, similarly I want to create one more data here. Class data v5 type I value 50. Now tell me what it is. v5 is
Static protected with value 50.
correct. So now the next one and final one I'll declare.
Class data.
This is
Static provide with value 60.
correct. So done. So now what we have done, whatever we have done in SE24 transaction, that we have done in this. We have completely done. Okay. So now
Yes.
come to the, which one? Tell me.
Nothing, sir.
You are trying to ask me something? Okay, fine. So now I want to access this data. So I will write the program here itself. I will say data obj type ref2. What is the class name?
C1.
C1. Start of selection. Create object obj. Okay, then I'll say write obj single arrow v1. Tell me the output.
10.
10. What is the output for v2?
20.
20. Sure. I'll check this. What it was saying?
Access to protected attribute weight is not allowed.
So v2 is a protected, correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
So
sir.
it cannot be accessible outside the class. So this is inside the class. This is within the class. This is called within the class. This is outside the class. After end class, whatever you give, that is outside the class.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So now v2 you are trying to access the data outside the class. So because it is protected, it will not allow you to access the data which is there in v2.
Sir,
So what is v3?
Sir, 1 second, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, if you write the same statement within that class, we can access that, no?
Yeah, you can access.
Write object single arrow v2. If you write in that.
No, within the class you have not created the object. How you can say write obj?
Okay, sir. If you create and write, we can get, no, sir?
You can get. I'll tell you that also. In the methods we'll do that. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Yes.
Okay, fine. So now what about v3?
V3 will also will not come, sir. It's a private.
It will not come. Why it will not come?
It should be accessed within the class itself.
Yeah, v3 is a private data. It won't come. What about v4?
It will come, sir. It's a public data.
It is accessible.
It's accessible. It's a public. Okay. So it will
Yeah.
come. V4 is static. Even without creating an object also you can access V4. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Class C1 double arrow V4 I'll give. I can also give like this. See. I can say C1 double arrow V4. No need to put this statement. Just I'll put this double arrow not is equal to C1 then this. Okay, so why I can give like this? Because V4 is
Static.
static. Correct. So fine. Can I access V5 and V6?
No, sir. They are protected
Okay,
and
fine.
private. Yes.
So fine. So if you can understand, if you are able to understand this, then that is okay. So we have done the first step in our OOPS programming. Now let us go to the next step. Now what I will do, I'm going to create some methods. Now you know everything, the functionality of the attributes. How to create attributes globally, that means in SE24 transaction, and how to create the attributes in SE38 also. Now let us go here to declare some methods. So here I will declare some methods. Method M1 I will declare. Method M1 is I'll make it as instance visibility public. I'll say M2 instance protected. Method M3 instance
Private.
private. M4 static
Private. Public.
public. M5 you can give any name. Okay, for the method you can give method get get_data or whatever you want you can give. I'm just giving this simple name. Okay, static public. Public is over already, so I'll give protected. M6 static private. Okay, so I have given 6 methods. Save this and check this. If I check, what will happen? Okay, so now what I will do, I'll double click on the method. Okay, so now you know each and every assume that there are 6 function modules are there. Now we have declared 6 function modules inside the class. Every function module has export and import parameters. Correct? Remember the function module, export and import parameters. Like that, every method has export and import parameters. If you want to put export and import parameters for method M3, for example, I want to put some export parameters and import parameters for method M3. What I will do, I'll click on the M3, go to the parameters. In the parameters, you declare I_matnr exporting, itab importing. Like that, you need to declare it here. Okay. So this is how you need to declare the methods. And 1 minute, Javed and Santosh, can you give me 2 minutes? I'll be back.
Okay.
Please give me 2 minutes. Check this syntax just, then I'll be back in 2 minutes. Yeah.
Okay.
I will stop the recording. I'll be back in 2 minutes.
Okay, sir.
Santosh.
Hi, Javel.
Hi, Santosh.
So let us continue.
Okay, sir.
You there?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. 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 So, say for example, if you want to put the parameters for the method, you need to put the parameters here. We will see, like, in the next coming classes, how to put the parameters and all. What we are concentrating here, we have declared some methods, 6 methods. So now what I will do, I will go inside the method and I will write some code. Inside the method, what you can do, you can write some code. Inside the function module, you are writing some code, correct? Just like that, inside the method 1, I want to write some coding. So when I went inside the method, what is the syntax is there? Check.
Method
Method,
M1.
M1 and method. And method. Now what I will do here, I will say write. I will simply give one write statement. I will say I am method M1. I am giving one write statement here. So whenever you write a code between method and end method, then you will say method M1 is implemented. If you write a coding between method and end method, you will say that method M1 is implemented.
Okay,
So
sir.
now save it. So method M1 is implemented now.
Okay, sir.
Now I'll check. If I check, yeah, it is syntactically correct. I'll try to activate and let us see what it will say. It's giving some error. I will try to process the error. So what it is saying? Implementation is missing for the method M2.
M2.
M2. So what it is saying? Implementation is not there for
M2.
M2. We have not written any statement for M2, correct?
Yes, sir.
So that's what it is saying. So you need to make a note of one point. If you declare a method in a class, you must implement the method.
Okay.
If you put here M2, that means you need to double click on M2 and you need to write some code inside the M2.
Okay.
Otherwise, you cannot activate your class. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So I'm putting here M2. Okay. So M3 also you need to implement. Like that, you need to implement all the methods. Otherwise, it will give error.
Yeah.
M3 also implemented. Now I'm going to implement M4. M5. So please make a note of the point. If you declare a method in the class, you must implement the method.
Okay,
So
sir.
now we have implemented all the 6 methods. Now I'll save it, check it and activate. Now it say it agrees. Okay, fine. It will say activated. Class is activated. Okay. So now this is how you can create a different methods and you can implement the methods and then you can activate the class. Now once you create with the methods and everything, go to the programming back. I'll create a program, create. So in this we'll see how to call methods. You know how to call the attributes?
Yes, sir.
Attributes you know already, we have done. In the same way we will call the methods also. Data obj type ref2 zcl underscore test, the class name, start of selection. Okay. create object obj. Then I'll say call method m1 single arrow, call method, not m1, call method obj single arrow m1. So this is how you can call a method. So now whatever inside the method m1, that will be written. Save it, check it and activate and execute. So I am method m1, I have given this I am method m1 inside the
Method.
method m1 in the implementation of method m1, remember? So that is coming. So if I give m2 here, then
It will not come, sir. It's a static.
it's not static.
And
M2
it's a
is
yes,
instance.
instance only, but it's a protected.
Correct, it's a protected. M3 is private, so
Private.
M3 also will not come. M4
M4 will come, sir. It's instant
M4
static
will come, correct.
public, sir.
Static public. So because that is static public, you can also call class name double arrow m1 call method.
Okay, sir.
You can also call like this, call method class name ZCL
Double arrow.
underscore test double arrow
M4.
M4. This is also another way. So I'll save it, check it and activate. Can we call M5,
No, sir.
M6?
No, sir.
No, why?
They are protected and private.
They are protected and private. Can we call a protected component inside the class?
Yes, sir.
This is outside the class, correct? Can I call inside the class?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes. So let us see how to call a protected or private method inside the class. I'll go to the class. I'll go to the public method. Okay, so I'll go here. I'll say here call method M6, or I'll say call method M3. So this is inside the class, correct? Now, forget about this for the time being. Now I have written call method obj m1. Now tell me what is the result.
I am method 1 and M1 and I am method M2. Both will come, sir.
I am method 1 and I am method 3.
3,
You have
sir.
called M3, correct?
M3, sir. M3, sir.
So yeah, I'll show you in debugging what will happen exactly. So it is going to call the method. I'll click on F5. So it is going inside the method M1. It will write I am method M1. See, call method M3. M3 is what?
It's a private.
It's a
Instant
private.
and
It's
instant.
a private.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, instance private.
Private.
But since it is inside the class, M1 is there inside the class, and within M side we are writing M3, call method M3, because this code we are writing inside the class. It is going, the cursor will go to the M3. M3 has I am method M3. So it will access the M3 also, it will write the M3 and then come back. I am method M1, I am method M3, both are coming.
Yes.
Okay, so now you got the difference. What is the exact difference between inside the class and outside the class?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now one more thing. I want to tell you one more thing. Can I call M6 here? Can I say M6?
M6 is a static private, sir. So
Static private.
I think we can't call that one.
Why?
So it's an instantaneous public, sir. Instance public, sir. This one. This class.
Instance public. Instance public cannot call static.
Yes, sir.
So let us see. It's syntactically correct. It can call. Okay.
If you activate.
It can call. So please make a note in your notebook. Please make a note. An instance component means method. Okay. An instance component can call static components. An instance component can call static component.
So vice versa.
Now, which one?
Vice versa will also possible.
Yeah, vice versa. I'm going to show you now.
Okay.
I went to
Okay.
Static public. I'm now M4. I'm going. I'm in static. Okay. So what I will say? Call method M1. So save it. Check it. Can M4, that means can static component can call instance component? No, it cannot call. See the syntax error.
Yes, sir.
Only static methods can be declared using a short form. Okay, fine, it is saying something. But why it is giving syntax error? Why a static cannot call instance, but instance is able to call a static? Why?
No, sir.
Think. You will get the reason. Say for example, I will go to the program. Okay. So this is what M4 is what? Static.
Okay, sir.
So because this is static, what I will do? I will not create any object. I will directly say class double arrow M4.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So then cursor will come here.
Okay, sir.
And cursor will come here. Now what is this?
It's a instance, sir. Call method M1
It's
is an
instance.
instance, sir. But
You must have object to
yes,
call the
sir.
instance.
So we need to create
But you have not declared. Yeah, correct. You need
We have
to
not
create an object.
object.
Got the reason?
Yes, sir.
Okay. But similarly, reverse. You think the reverse way.
Yes,
First is instance and then static.
yes, sir.
Instance means you should create an
Create
object.
object.
Through object you can also call static.
Static also. Okay,
Correct. So that is the reason. So that is why a static method cannot call instance method, but instance method can call static method. Remember.
Okay, sir.
So this is important question in your interview. Fine. So now you know how to create different methods, how to implement the methods, how to call a methods within the class, how to call a methods outside the class. Correct?
Okay.
How to call a method outside the class, create a program, create an object, and then call the methods.
Okay.
So today I am going to show you one more small program implementing methods in the SC38, in creating a class in SC38 itself, and then we'll close for today. So what I will do, We have created already one program. I'll copy that program. See, this program we have already created, right? Class C1, public section, protected section, and private section, and then we are doing this. You know, this is for attributes, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now we will put methods also here. Just a minute. We will put methods also here. Okay. So what I will do? I'll say here methods. Okay, method name is
M1
M1.
type.
M1. That's it. Okay, type is not required. I'll say method name is M1. If it is having some export and import parameters, then we need to put it here. Otherwise, that's enough. I'll say class. I'll put a period here. Dot class hyphen methods.
M4.
I'll say some
M4s.
M4. So what is method means? M1 is
Instance method 1. Instance
Instance
public.
public. So M1 is instance public. M4 is
Static public.
static public. Correct. Okay. So M2,
M5.
M5. Now tell me what is this?
Then M2 instance
M2 is
instance protected.
instance
Protected.
protected.
M5 is static
Yeah.
protected.
M5 is
Static protected.
Correct. So now what is this?
M3 is instance private. M6 is static private.
Hmm. Okay. So now we have created some classes and methods. Okay. Now what I told, once you put a method in the class, you must implement it. Correct?
Okay.
Method should be implemented.
Yes.
So now I'll check the syntax. We have not implemented. As of now, we have not implemented the methods. So I'll put a syntax check here. So let us see what it will say. So what it is saying? Class C1 implementation. Class C1 does not have implementation. Do the implementation.
Okay, sir.
It is saying. So now what you need to do, after the definition, you should say implementation. I'll say here class C1 implementation end class. So first in this I want to implement the method M1. So I will say method M1 end method. When you are implementing, you have seen this, correct? Method and method I have shown you.
Yes, sir.
Remember that one?
Yes, sir.
Method and end method, like that. You put here method and end method, and you write the whatever you want here. I'll just say right. I am method M1. So method M1 implementation is done. Method M2 implementation is also done. Method M3 implementation now is done. Method M4 is done. Method M5 is also done. So and finally M6 also I am implementing.
Yes.
See here while implementing the methods, I am simply giving the right statements just to show you that statement will come in the output, but you can write any select queries or something. You can put any sort of coding inside the methods. Okay. So now with this, whatever we have done in SE24, that is finished.
Yes.
So we have implemented all the methods. Now save and check.
Now
So
it's
it's syntactically correct and accurate. Now I want to access a method. So how can I access? Start of selection, create object obj, call method, for example obj single arrow
M1.
M1. What is the output? I am method M1.
1.
Okay, so I am method M1. This is the output. So I cannot call M2 here, correct?
Yes.
Call
Yes, sir.
method M2. I want to call M2. I cannot call M2 here.
Yes, sir. It's an outside the class.
This is wrong. So this is wrong. This is outside the class. So it is say I don't know what is M2. So comment this. So put the statement here. If you put the statement here, and after this, call method M2. So this is correct.
Okay, sir.
And you will get
I am method M2.
both. Okay, so you are calling only M1, but inside the M1, M2 is also getting called.
Okay, sir.
Actually here see, here you are calling only M1. This is only M1. But inside the M1, M2 is also getting called and result is getting displayed. Okay. So this is how you can call the methods, and you can create a local class with the methods and implement the methods. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Clear?
Yes, sir.
So in the next class, we will try to create some special methods. We will try to put the parameters to the methods. We will try to put the events, and then we'll try to go with the inheritance. We have different concepts, right? Inheritance,
Polymorphism.
Concepts also.
Okay, sir.
We'll see. Now you got the idea. What is a class? What is the method? What is the attribute?
Yes, sir.
Correct?
Yeah.
So with this idea, we'll go with the next class to get the instance, that is inheritance. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So
Okay,
fine,
sir.
I'll stop here. So
Okay, sir.
see you tomorrow.
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir.